Hello, my name is Ansley Marks, and I attended Sean Carroll's lecture on baby universes and the era of time. Sean Carroll started off his lecture with describing the concept of time, and how time is a measured repetition of something, whether it's the sun rising and setting each day, or the earth rotating around the sun in a year. And basically what he stated was that time has a direction. We've got a future, and we've got a present, and then also a past. And he juxtaposed this idea with space, which really has no direction. If you're in the middle of nowhere, there's no in front of you or behind you, everything is the same. And then he went on to describe what entropy was. And he described entropy as the tendency for a closed system to go from a state of not as much randomness and disorder to a state of more disorder and randomness. And the guy who originally thought of this idea was Boltzmann. And Boltzmann had an idea of how the universe was originally created. Boltzmann states that everything was in thermal equilibrium, and there was some sort of statistical fluctuation which could create a universe or a planet or a brain for that matter. And this theory is called Boltzmann's brain, which was actually disproved because the chance of just a universe being created or a planet or brain is so infinitesimally small, and there's no way that this could have all just happened by chance. But Sean Carroll kind of took this idea and kind of spun off of it with his own theory. And his theory of how the universe started was that we have a mother universe, and there's going to be a statistical fluctuation that will kind of spawn another baby universe. And this baby universe will expand and grow and become more and more disordered with higher entropy. And that's Sean Carroll's theory on how the universe is started. He's saying that there is no direction of universes. There can be universes being made in the past, and to those universes, it looks like they're in the present and that we're in the past, whereas we think they're in the past, but we're in the future. There's no difference between the two. And that's Sean Carroll's idea. One of the more interesting points that Sean Carroll talked about that I really liked was the inevitable fate of the universe. I've never really thought about this before or done any research on it. The general theory that he had was that eventually everything, all the energy in the universe is going to turn into too dissipated of energy to do any sort of real work. So stars and planets, they're going to be created, and eventually those stars are going to burn out and turn into black holes. And then eventually those black holes are going to emit radiation, which is Stephen Hawking's black holes radiation being emitted. And after the radiation is eventually emitted, I think it's 10 to the 100 years from now, or years after the Big Bang started, eventually everything is just going to be too cold and the energy is too dissipated for anything to happen. And it's just going to be an empty vacuum filled with nothing. And that's one idea, that's one theory of how the universe is going to end. And another big theory, I did some separate research on this, another big theory is the Big Rip. And this is dealing with dark energy and how dark energy is really what's creating our universe to continually expand. And this dark energy, its rate is constantly accelerating. It's not a constant rate of expansion, and eventually what scientists are going to think, or what scientists think is going to happen, is that this rate is going to exceed the speed of light, and particles are eventually just going to rip apart from each other, and that's why it's called the Big Rip. That is one theory of the universe ending. There are several other theories. One of the past theories that was popular was the Big Crunch, and that's what Albert Einstein thought of. And he thought of the idea that there's too much density in the universe, and eventually, due to gravity, these objects are going to become attracted to each other, and kind of like how the Big Bang started at a point of singularity, all these items would be attracted to each other and eventually just grow to another point of singularity, and then eventually start over again with another Big Bang. And that, the idea that another Big Bang is going to happen, that's another theory called the Big Bounce. And those are really the main theories that I could read about. And the one that Sean Carroll discussed in his lecture was the Big Freeze, which is that and the Big Rip are the two most likely theories of the fate of our universe right now. And according to Sean Carroll, that's what's going to happen to our baby universe, and eventually we'll die out, and maybe some other baby universes will be spawned from our universe. Who knows? This idea could be just a theory, or it could be the real deal. But thank you for watching. Have a good day.